There are no snakes on this motherfucking plane, but there sure are a lot of one-dimensional bad guys. That's right, we saw Con Air, so you know what that means. Hello, people of Earth, and welcome to a How Did This Get Made Monday Matinee. We are revisiting Con Air. We've taken it out of the vault, and we're putting it back into the main feed for you. And boy, oh boy, this is one of those, thank God it got made movies. We love Con Air. I mean, it's insane, slightly racist, and is confusing on many, many levels, but it's a damn good movie. Joining us today is Seth Grahame-Green. You know him as the author of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. He also has been involved with Lego Batman and It, and is writing the new Beetlejuice sequel. He joins us to dissect this film where we talk about Nicolas Cage's beautiful hair and how John Cusack doesn't seem to care that much about prison reform, but just about his damn plane. And how does he get away with riding a motorcycle with flip-flops and socks? That's right. That's what John Cusack does in this movie. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. If you remember, Danny Trejo once came on our show and said the scariest actor he ever worked with was John Cusack. And he said because he has crazy behind the eye. And I kind of love that, and I always think about that, and I think about it when I think about this movie, that in this rogues gallery of some of the best character actors ever, John Cusack was the most intimidating. And by the way, John Malkovich may have the best death scene ever of any villain. That's my promise to you. If you've not seen Con Air, what are you doing? Go check it out. But if you want to hear a little bit more about what we had to say about it, listen right here.
I don't look at the movies like this normally. But you could argue that no character's arc in this movie at all.
Right.
There was no change from the beginning to the end. Nick Cage was like, I want to go home. He got home.
Yep.
There was no he just was always the good guy.
Right.
The bad guys, there's no changes with them.
Well, they're just dead at the
There's
end.
a huge change for...
Yeah.
And there is a change for John Cusack.
Which is?
Well, I mean, I feel like he becomes an action star by the end of the movie.
That's not...
Oh, wait.
He does.
You mean John Cusack has changed, not his character.
Not Vince Larkin. Yeah.
The only
That's
person...
exactly right.
The only person who I think does change a little bit in an insignificant way is what Cole Meany.
Yeah.
Yes.
He goes from being a prick to being like, I guess you're okay.
Again, in true Bruckheimer fashion, Cole Meany from Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Star Trek Next Generation comes in and is just an asshole from moment one.
Yep,
And
right.
he hates John Cusack, who's a U.S. Marshal, who we've only I know of U.S. Marshals as like badasses. They're not like...
I'm sorry, not if you're in the DEA, bro. If you're in the DEA, the U.S. Marshals are basically pussies.
I saw the
Can we-
movie, yes.
The first shot of John Cusack in this movie is of his feet, and he is wearing sandals with socks.
Oh, I did not put that together. Okay.
Is that true?
That is true. And
didn't
there
notice
is another shot in Las Vegas, so he arguably doesn't learn anything either
Right.
in the movie, because at the end of the movie he's still wearing sandals with socks. But
And he rode the motorcycle with sandals
he
and
rode
socks?
the motorcycle, and by the way, apparently he flies an attack chopper. He knows how to do that.
Yeah.
And this stuff. But
and
all
he was
that
able to
action-
drive wherever he got in that car, drove to the airfield in record time.
in record time. But Cole Meany thinks from moment one that he's a liberal pussy. At one point he says like, "Where is Larkin? Oh, he's probably saving the fucking rainforest."
Yeah.
Larkin, who is like, I'm going to where the bad guys are actually going. I have the information. I'm going there.
No, I'm going to chase the goddamn tourist plane
And
with
then
the transponder.
Cole Meany gets distracted, and then they're trying to call him, and he's like, yeah, makes that like, he's probably trying to save the rainforest. No, he told you where he's going. You're a terrible listener.
What we understand of Larkin, or at least my knowledge of Larkin, is this guy's like...
Larkin is John Cusack's character.
He's like, I'm taking the world's dangerous prisoners and putting them in a supermax jail. He's not like, I'm putting them out on parole. Like, he's just like, yeah, he's for incarceration.
But I will say, if John Cusack didn't see them as human beings on any level, he would never have known to really investigate Nicolas Cage's character and find and assume that he would have a chance with him. Like he did believe on some level that prisoners can be rehabilitated and that they can do the right thing. He did.
No, I don't think so. I think John Cusack only cared about his plane. John Cusack's thing was that plane was his idea. June, does that make sense?
I disagree.
I think that John Cusack cares about this plane, and he's like, don't shoot it down, that's my plane. He only thinks of Nicolas Cage when he realizes, hey, I think we have an ally on this plane. I think it's this guy. I think he knows he's got a plane full of
He's only a means to an end.
Maniacs, you know?
Yeah, because in the beginning he says Cameron Poe is a nobody.
I'm sorry, if he felt, though, that he had a plane full of maniacs, he would have no problem with that DEA agent having a gun.
Well, no, I think he was being smart. He was like, this is a plane full of insanos.
Yeah, no,
he was not put a gun in the mix.
No, that was the same thing as he was like, and what he said was, it's the same rules as prison. Nobody has guns.
Yeah.
You know, like prison guards don't have guns either.
And by the way, the only reason that Colmini puts that DEA agent on the plane, and he says it in the movie, is because it's their last chance to get a confession from Sandino, the drug lord, before he gets into FBI custody. And Colmini says, and I'll be damned if those FBI bastards are going to get the credit. So he's putting this guy's life in danger and putting a gun on a plane full of insanos so that he can get the confession before the fucking FBI bastards get it.
So basically the DEA is just pissed off at everybody.
Everybody.
You know how after 9/11 they were like, wow, this is really the 9/11 podcast. They were like, none of our intelligence agencies talk to each other. They could have looked at this movie and known that. This movie is an illustration of how little our intelligence services are willing to work with each other. It is a scathing indictment.
It was ahead of its time.
Oh, God.
Well, I also want to bring up a point.
And it took Snowden? We had Con Air, guys, and it took Snowden?
This movie. Oh, all right. We're not even in the air. I guess we are. We're getting in the air. The other thing was they are not putting weapons on the plane, but oddly, the entire belly of the plane is full of weapons.
Correct.
Like chock full.
Yeah.
And at no point does when the prisoners take over the plane do they go, let's go get that. That boatload of weapons.
At the very end, when they're at Lerner Airfield.
At the very end, they do.
Yeah.
They break into the front of the plane, and they get all those shotguns, and then Cyrus the Virus makes his little Coke can map. Remember, he's like General MacArthur in the Philippines.
They do so much in those 10 to 12 minutes.
It is unbelievable. Which, by the way, 10 to 12 minutes, Ving Rhames gets up to the top, and he looks out into the desert, and he sees the dust plume of the cars, the approaching, and he goes, they're 10 to 12 minutes away.
And
he just fucking eyeballs it.
They dig
10 to 12 minutes away.
They dig the plane out.
Yep.
13
They
to
tie
17
ropes
minutes.
around the plane. They pull the plane out. They find a tractor. They attach it to the plane. They have time to build propane tank bombs. Everybody gets in. They do conservatively 3 days worth of
Correct.
work in those 10 to 12 minutes.
And to my point, Cyrus makes a 2-scale map of the entire airfield.
And by the way, the plan was not that intense. You didn't need to make that much of it.
He didn't need the map. He could have just been like, he could have just pointed at the thing and been like, right here is where we're gonna do it. He didn't need to assemble any of that.
It wasn't like the Back to the Future model where Doc had to show Marty how it all would have to work.
And then the cops drive in at like 4 miles an hour in single file, and there's this huge, vast desert. And they drive through the only bottleneck in the entire, for miles.
Why? Why would you do it? Why? You have to know it's a trap.
All right, so if you'd like to listen to the full episode, just head on over to wherever you get your podcasts. It's sitting right there waiting for you. And if you want more of these little videos, just subscribe, and tell your friends about them. We do these every single Monday. And make sure you're also checking out Unspooled. This month, we are doing animation, which is all animated films. But we did take a break to talk about Top Gun, and we get into it because Amy Nicholson is a Tom Cruise expert. She wrote the book on him, and she brought to the table so much great information about that movie and Tom. So listen to Unspooled wherever podcasts are heard. And that's it. We'll see you next time for How Did This Get Made. Remember, like, subscribe, do all the things, and keep on telling your friends about the podcast. Thank you. Bye-bye.